So you all alternate meals, right? What if the first meal you go to Coma or something, then the next meal you go McDonald's?
I'll be okay with that, honestly.
No, wait, you must ask the girl first. If what she pay for the coma, then he pay for the next
Yeah,
one.
I'll be okay with that too.
50-50.
That's right.
Hi everyone, welcome to Tia Podcast. Today I have two guests with me.
Hi, I'm Ned. You see me before.
Hey yo, J-Dog here. I'm new. Fresh face.
Okay, so we all know each other from poly, and today I brought two of them here to
All of
talk about
All two of us.
the 50-50 debate, and that is whether guys should pay for the first date. And we're also going to talk a little bit about like gender equality and stuff, you know, all that kind of
Let's see where the
controversial,
wind
fun
blows.
stuff. Yeah.
That's right, blows.
I have a Korean teacher, and she's from Seoul, so she was telling me that the gender inequality in Korea is quite bad. So I think it's a very well-known thing like in Korea that they're very sexist and misogynistic and all that kind of stuff. So she asked me, how's the situation like in Singapore? So we actually do this lesson over Zoom lah, and she's living in France now. Actually, she said in France it's bad too. So when she asked me about Singapore, I was like, I was really trying to think, do I ever even think about this? And I realized it's not even something that I really think about. If I can't imagine a man really coming up to me and saying like, I don't think women should be taking jobs. I just cannot imagine somebody in Singapore saying something like that at this day age. Oh my god, but I got a story for that later. So
It's an expensive society, man.
Everybody got to work.
Yeah, everybody gotta work.
okay, so let's just start with the 50-50. Will y'all pay for the first date?
Okay, so I think for myself, I would generally offer to pay for a first date. Not really because like it's a guy versus girl thing, but I think it's quite nice to like be able to treat people, and I would like to think that I do this once in a while for my friends also, and not just like for a girl.
He did
Okay.
he did that for me and my husband the last time
Yeah,
he
I
was
paid
here
for the
actually.
two
Yeah.
of them.
I can't remember when was the last
When
time
was the
you did it
last
for
time you
me.
ate with us?
The pizza? Oh, the pizza you didn't pay, he paid.
Okay.
So he paid for it.
Yeah, see, everybody treats each
Okay.
other.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, give it to
Good,
him.
good. Yeah.
Sorry.
Speaking about my own relationship, I feel like for me and my girlfriend, actually we've like had quite a nice system going on where because she really likes to look up and research activities and fun things to do in Singapore, so she ends up paying for a lot of the activities. So then for us, when we go out for meals and dinners and more like casual dates, then I'll generally end up paying for like the food lah. And at the start of our relationship, when she had already started working and I was still in uni, so obviously I was a broke ass student, then she would offer to like pick up most of the food bills, even though I still had like some army savings and stuff lah. So then I'll pay for my own food as well, right? But I think like overall, it kind of like balanced out to something quite equal. So I think like we are in a nice spot where neither of us feel like, you know, it's either party is coming out more or less. But of course, Mimi have to ask her how she feels like. Maybe I don't feel anything, but
Maybe she like, hey, this guy damn stingy.
Yeah, I guess for me is whenever I go on like first dates in general, I always offer to pay first, and following thereafter, then I always like carry on with saying like, oh, you can pay for the next date, it's fine, don't worry about it, because to me this kind of sets the tone, right, whereby you are not trying to be so kekao about money
Yeah.
in a sense. Yeah, and for me, my current relationship, that's what I did for my girlfriend in general, and I think it's been like 3.5, close to 4 years already, and we've been following this culture whereby I'll pay for this day, you pay for the next, this and that. And in a sense, we are not very caught up with like,
Who pay
you-
what,
yeah,
right now
exactly.
lah.
Like, oh my god, you're paying so much on this day, I should pay more on the next day. Yeah, no such thing. So it's totally fine. I think it sets the tone very well. And I mean, I think that's my value in general, and that's how our values align.
so you all alternate meals, right? What if the first meal you go to Coma or something, then the next meal you go McDonald's?
I'll be okay with that, honestly.
No, wait, you must ask the girl first. If what she pay for the coma, then he pay for the next one.
I'll be okay with that too.
50-50.
That's right. Yeah.
No, but I can't get there because you don't want to be like, oh, down to the cents, right? Or like,
Yeah.
hey, you never pay me like $1 or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's so tiring to be calculative about money, right? I feel that nothing ruins relationship than three things: religion, money, and like family.
That's-
Personal take.
That's almost everything important in life, but okay.
Not wrong.
Fundamentals, the fundamentals.
The fundamentals.
So, actually, right, when I was in earlier years, right, I actually thought that splitting equally, I always had the idea that I should split equally all the time, like not who pay what. So there was one time, right, I remember this was when I was maybe my late teens, that my friend told me that she said she was talking about this guy who didn't want to pay, who asked her back for money for that time $5 McDonald's lah. And I was just thinking, I remember thinking to myself at the time, huh, what's wrong with that? And so only many years later that I started to feel like, yeah, that's kind of stingy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I really at that time thought that it was okay. So actually for me, right, from the get go, since I started dating, and I started dating very young, like 13, that's slut. But like when I was 13, yeah, I always had the expectation
She
that
said it
like
herself.
50, like we'll go like 50-50. I never like expected my boyfriend to pay. Even don't even say first date. Even in the longer relationships, and my relationship all a few years one, I never be like, I never pay you back or whatever. We always like have this equal system.
Yeah. But I feel that maybe not you, but a lot of ladies in Singapore in general kind of have that societal expectations
Yes.
that the guy should pay on the first date. So while you are the outlier, I feel like as guys like myself, we generally want to take the conservative approach of offering to pay first. Then that way it won't offend anybody, or rather her, in the sense if you don't pay, she won't see you as like this stingy man, like with
Who
no
doesn't want
money,
to pay lah.
yeah, poverty,
He's poor.
you know, yeah, something like that.
I think the main thing is like you just never really want to come across as stingy lah.
Yeah.
Like no one wants to think of their partner as somebody who's not generous. Because I think generosity can look quite sexy. So
Ah, shit. That explains a lot of things.
are you a very generous person?
Oh, very, very sexy.
Yeah. So I think like it can really go either ways, right? Where if you keep demanding for your partner to like, okay, you're 50-50, so you're equal, but you're very calculative down to like the very cent. I think that doesn't really come across very nice also. Because for example, if you're like we mentioned the coma versus McDonald's just now, right? Then you're like, oh, you got to treat me McDonald's 20 more times in order to make up for the one coma. Then if
Yeah.
you really like count until like that, I think it can make your relationship very sour lah.
That's very true.
But if say I get treated to coma on the first date, right? My second date, I would suggest something that is close. Not even McDonald's. I think it's like disrespectful to the lady in general, right? Like, oh my god, this cheap guy. So you want to look generous, like in a sense. Then you don't want to look too. I'm trying to be taking advantage of her. I think it's an etiquette thing, lah.
Okay, but then let me ask you this question more on like gender equality side, right? If they don't offer to pay on the first date, they don't offer to go Dutch. That means you offer to pay already. They don't even pretend with you that, no lah, let's split lah. You know that kind that dance, right? Then how will you feel about it?
I don't think I'll be too bothered because when I offer to pay, I'm like quite
You mean it
genuine
lah.
about
You
it
mean
lah.
it lah,
I-
you mean,
I
okay.
don't have that expectation that
You
like,
know what
have
I
to,
mean,
like,
right?
Yeah.
You know, like okay, I don't know if this is offensive to like Chinese people, but you always see when like they go to restaurants, then like the oldest auntie will be like, oh, I pay, then she
They'll
bring out
fight
a
to
credit
pay.
card, then the first son or something like that will like take out $200 notes. So he's like, no, I pay. Then they will like fight about it.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, like, I don't have the expectation of doing that weird dance lah in order to settle the bill. Like, if you're gonna offer it, just mean it lah, right?
But I think it's a nice gesture when the lady like, oh yeah, let's go Dutch. Then you be like, oh no, I'll take it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a guy, like, you feel good.
It's a plus point if she does. It's not a minus point if she doesn't.
Oh,
No,
really?
Yep. Yeah, no,
Really?
it's true.
Okay,
it's true.
okay.
Yeah.
I should have listened to y'all last time.
Oh, it's
And
okay.
just taken all the
You're-
treats.
You're happily married
Hey,
now anyway.
nobody really. I mean, when I was younger, nobody offered to pay for me.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
Okay, like, we are some broke ass student at that point. You know?
Yeah,
like,
I
no one
can't
can
afford to
offer
pay for
That's true. Maybe
Yeah.
if I try online dating a bit later on in my
Yeah.
life, I would have
fact,
experienced some. I would have gone for some nice free meals.
If you think about it, right,
that'd
if
be
the guy offers to pay, right, he's paying with daddy's money. Like, he's not even paying with his own money. It means nothing.
Not true. I mean, he saves up, right? Eventually, when I was a broke boy dating, when I was a student, it's all pocket money. Man saved up eventually, just to bring girls on nice dates. But,
Wow.
Saved up all his money to
all with my own pocket money.
I'm glad it worked out for you.
I mean, eventually did lah. Game of numbers.
I remember when I went on my first date with my husband, so actually I offered to pay because I was earning a lot of money back then. Or at least to me, I was earning a lot of money back then. I was earning almost $4,000 at 20 years old, and I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. Okay, I'm not earning that amount
Give
now.
money to your friends.
No.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah, but then after that, obviously he didn't take it, but we just split, and then subsequently he paid lah, and up to today he pay for everything, and I don't bother to like, hey, let's split or anything. I just okay, thank you, and then it's like not that's the thing. Now it's the expectation, right? That he will just pay. I will just eat. He will pay, and that's the end.
I love that. He'll pay and I'll just eat.
Yeah.
Okay lah. I mean, like as long
But
as
because I'm married,
yeah.
we started this when we started doing this when we started living together. When it became very difficult to be like, even want to don't talk about payback money, and I even like calculating who and what. So he just pay for everything. And anyway, I'm working in a charity, so I'm very poor.
no, but does your like partner's financial situation come into play? Like, say, let's put into context. Say, Nat, you started dating, then there's this girl that is super rich, like say top 1% of Singapore. If you watch the Super Rich in Korea, but yeah, anyway.
He's suddenly dating some Samsung
yeah. And would you offer to pay, or would you let her pay, knowing how rich she is?
I think I'll still like offer to pay, though. In the long run, I do kind of like have that idea where if you are like married and stuff, right, then
Yeah.
it should be a bit more like, this is our money rather than strictly your money,
that's
strictly
true,
my money. I
that's
think
true.
Yeah.
people get like very caught up about like your money, my money, even in like a marriage, if they're like not really sure that things will work out.
I went to dinner with this person and their parents, right? And the parents, right, after dinner will say like, hey, later transfer how much money.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, I was shocked.
Wow.
I was really shocked because it's like parents,
Yeah.
Then it's like your own family. I was like, I just cannot imagine saying that to my husband.
That's a
Like,
bit sad.
Yeah.
after that, we'll calculate. I was like,
I think most people in Singapore wouldn't be comfortable lah. Yeah.
But like, so I mean, I was just thinking that technically, if you get very defensive of what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours, even after you are married, then maybe you have a bit of that like fear that things won't work out and that you are going to divorce. That's why you have to clearly segregate what is yours, right? If not, then if you guys end up separated, then how do you divide that kind of thing? So I feel like once you are married and firmly together, then those walls should kind of break down a little bit, that it becomes a shared thing lah. So then if my partner is earning a lot more than me, or I'm earning a lot more than my partner, whichever way it works, right? It shouldn't really be like equal 50-50, but more of like equity in the sense of like if
Who
you
earns more?
yeah, if you earn more, then maybe you come out a slightly bigger portion just because you can afford to take on a bit more of that burden now,
Correct.
okay, so now let's move on to the other part, which is just in general, right? Do you feel like men and women are very equal in Singapore? Okay, in Singapore's context. So let me tell you this very funny story also. When I was in UK, so at UK I had a lot of international friends. So this guy from Hong Kong, he's damn funny. He's like, he was saying like, in Hong Kong, the women are the queens. So it's not even like men and women like equal. Like other countries, like let's say Korea, the guy is like more important, right? He said now in Hong Kong, the women are more superior than the men. And I think in Singapore, in a lot of cases, it somehow become true also. Honestly, that's how I feel. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's how I feel, because I think one of it is like, okay, like Women's Charter, right? Just talking about the legal part.
Yeah.
Women's Charter protects women a lot legally. And so then the punishment for the same thing can become a bit unfair even I think sometimes it's a bit unfair. So I'm just talking about like legal. If let's say two underage people have sex, for some reason it's only the guy that they will charge for rape, or for the guy that will get in trouble, unless the woman is also is overage and then it's like grooming the guy. But otherwise, if you're talking about two underage one, for some reason, usually only the guy gets in trouble.
I mean, in Singapore too, right?
Singapore.
Yeah, she's
yeah.
talking
We're
about
talking about
Singapore
Singapore.
context
In
lah,
Singapore,
yeah.
yeah. So Hong Kong, I don't know their law lah. But remember, it was on the news recently that this guy, then he and the girlfriend I think was 1 year older, but they're both underage. Then she had a kid, like gave birth, and then she threw the kid in a wheel or something. Do you remember?
Oh my
Do you
god,
remember?
I didn't read
No,
it.
I
see the
didn't.
news.
No, but okay, then
Yeah.
forget it. No, but that's just like, what do y'all think? What do y'all think?
I feel like, okay lah, to be honest, I'm a guy, so I don't really think about this too much. At the end of the day, I would just try to be respectful towards women.
Eh,
Like but in general lah, like I will try to do my part. I always feel like societies in general across the world have traditionally been a bit more like, okay, a lot more misogynistic, and like the world is improving, and I think Singapore is a lot more progressive compared to other countries, but there will still be like underlying hints of like sexism here and there. Like guys are going to think we're better, girls might think that they're better at certain things. Hard to really like get to the nitty-gritty of things. I think there's a lot less like blatant sexism, but I think everybody has different experiences. So I feel like my girlfriend has definitely talked about how she felt like looked down upon because she's a girl
Really?
Oh,
before.
really?
Yeah. Like she feels like she doesn't have an equal footing where she's at simply because of like her gender lah. So at the end of the day, when I hear these kind of stories, I don't experience things for myself, so I wouldn't really know how to comment on it. But I just like try to be aware of it lah. But I think it's a lot less blatant compared to other countries. Like, let me give you a interesting story. Like yesterday, my girlfriend and I went for a massage. So the two aunties massaging us were like China aunties lah. And then the auntie was just saying like, wow, in Singapore, okay, I mean this is translated lah, but in Singapore, you all have it very good because both the guy and the girl earn money. My son back in China, the wife sit at home all day, never do anything. Guys in China need to, like, she basically said, need to wear your glasses very carefully and look for the right girl. Because the wrong girl won't treat you well. She'll just like expect you to pay for everything. And I think like, so in more like East Asian countries maybe, or like traditional countries like in China, where the gender roles are a lot more like segregated and a lot more obvious. Whereas in Singapore, like you say, like it's a expensive country. We don't get to. So women get empowered by having that like financial freedom. So then they are able to like have a. To be honest, I feel like they have a bigger say in society now. But like whatever like underlying tensions might still be there lah.
But I feel like the thing about China is scarcity, right? They have that one child policy thing. So most children or most kids in China will be boys, and there are way lesser ladies than guys. So in a sense, ladies are in lesser amounts, so they have the right to, choose like who they want to be, and they can pick and choose. And obviously, they'll pick the guys with the right qualities in terms of money, looks, and
I
everything.
think China is very different. China is very different in terms of when we're talking about this, right? China itself, they have a very patriarchal society. So another story I have also from China. This was when I was in China. I was also getting a massage, and so the two people, right? So me and my husband. The two people who were like massaging us, one was a guy and the other was a girl. So this guy was actually complaining to this girl in his own dialect, but then they translated it to ask us about our opinion, which was very weird. So he was actually complaining about his wife. He said that his wife has 3 kids. So they are from the village lah. They have 3 kids back in the village, and then but then she is arguing with the mother-in-law, so his mother, and then he's like, why she cannot just give in? It's like just like respect your elders. She should give in. So they still have this mindset, which I'm not surprised. I mean, they are from the village.
Yeah.
But after that, they asked us. They were like, next time when you get married, are you going to move in? Ask me if I'm going to move into his house. Then I said, no.
You have the bigger house.
Yeah.
I didn't say that, but at that time we weren't even engaged yet. But when they said that, I was just like, wow. So many of my friends in Singapore, right, the husband moved into the girl's house. Not because of a bigger house, but just because they prefer lah. They want to.
Yeah.
There's still that I was just telling Sam that even though it's more equal nowadays, there's still the expectation when the wife moves into the in-laws house that the wife has to do more things than the man lah. Okay, like the man, right, like okay, he moved. A lot of the husbands that move into their wife's house, they are just not expected to do as much. That's just the truth. But it's very accepted nowadays. It's not like you look at somebody, the husband move into the wife's house, then you're like, wow, this guy shameful, shame.
Yeah, yeah.
That kind, that kind of mindset. But
correct.
in China, they were really surprised. They were like, so when I told my Korean teacher this recently, because she asked me, because she know I got married. Actually, I've been with her for 2 years already lah. So in the last year after I got married, she asked me, she said, oh, so where are you living now? Then I said, I'm still living in my current house. Then she said, then where's your husband? Then I was like,
The house with
In the house with
yeah,
you.
no. Then she was really surprised. She was like, in Korea they would never. She was really like, that would never happen. Then she said, Koreans need to learn from like Singaporeans, to about this lah. So I think, to me, I really realized how much things are in Singapore are very different from things overseas.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's why when people ask me this question, then I start to find like, but like what your girlfriend experienced, right? The thing is, I never really experienced anything more than casual remarks. Definitely still casual remarks, but not from work. It's always like some old people, right? That just very unsolicited. Like you just sitting there, not say a word to them. Then suddenly they will say some shit. Then you're just like,
Yeah.
bruh.
Yeah.
No, but that's exactly the thing, right? It's
Yeah.
like we kind of like laugh it off and say it's casual remarks, but technically it comes from somewhere, and
No, the thing is because
Yeah.
it's okay. So this one that I'm saying, I did go and go
like
back,
say him lah.
but because the generation below that, like my bosses, that age group, right,
Yeah.
like in the 40s, 50s, that
Correct,
kind,
correct.
they don't say this type of things anymore.
Yeah.
So then is those people who are stepping into the grave, honestly, that they
Yeah.
say this type of things. So you're kind of like,
I mean, you're not surprised at the same time.
Okay
as
lah.
well,
So
lah.
the old
Yeah.
people say the silent things out loud, right? But you
Yeah.
never know when people actually like might think these kind of things.
yeah, that's
So-
very true.
In my current workplace, we heard before that the staff generally prefer a guy boss to a girl boss because they feel like guy bosses are nicer and girl bosses are a bit more like bitchy lah.
Oh
for
my
that.
god, that's so true.
But
not so true as in I've heard that before. Yeah.
But so not to say that there is like truth or that these things aren't true or whatever, because every workplace is different, right? But
Yeah.
it still clearly shows that people do divide along gender lines.
Yeah.
And yes, guys and girls are definitely not. Guys and girls are definitely different, right? But the fact that people use gender as a means to separate shows that there is still some level of inequality lah in that sense. So
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I've never experienced that, like whatever that you guys just said. Maybe because I'm from an American company, whereby D&I is so important, like diversity and inclusion. So a lot of my superiors are ladies in general, and I've never, or rather we as a team, never once felt that they were less capable than guys. So in fact, I argue that most of them are more capable than
Oh
guys.
no, I think my staff think that the girls are more capable, therefore more demanding, therefore they don't want to work.
Oh no,
I
then,
see.
Okay, that's beside the point.
Yeah, but I mean, talking about Singapore in general, I'm actually quite shocked to hear that your girlfriend has been treated less equally because of her gender, in a sense. Because most ladies I know, they always felt that guys are rather at a more disadvantage when you talk about the workforce in general, because of that 2 years mandatory service that we have in NS, which if you convert it in terms of a career perspective, that is 2 years less to actually climb the corporate ladder. So when you are in a company, or say working in a bank like myself, like that, a lot of ladies at our age are in a way higher position than we are, and because they have that advantage to kickstart, whereby that 2 years of NS service doesn't really value add lah. Value add in terms of
Yeah.
your career progression. But I dare say that if you talk about it in terms of like different jobs, like government jobs, like army jobs, in MINDEF in general, then it will be a lot easier to get in because you're a guy, because you understand the different processes that they are involved in and things
Guys
like that.
in government also get high salary,
Oh.
starting salary. So
Yeah,
when I work in the
starting
ICA, straight off the bat, they all got higher salary.
Yeah, maybe it's a government thing because I really don't experience that for myself.
I mean, for me, I think it has a lot to do with like culture, right? So, Singapore's an interesting place where we have a mishmash of like Asian and Western
Yeah.
values. So, in the older generation, maybe we see more like Eastern values or more like traditional values, like we like to call it. And the younger generation, we are more like diverse. So we get exposed to a lot more like Western culture. So we
Yeah.
get.
I just want to tell you this story, okay, of this guy in our poly. So
Oh, shit,
there's
who?
3 of us who were doing a group project together. So 2 girls and this one guy. So this one guy, right, he was really not. So after we agreed on like okay what we were supposed to do, then he was not putting his weight on for his part.
Yeah.
So there was one day when we met up to discuss, then I was really quite angry with him. So I went to say lah. I cannot remember, but I was not very nice. Then I said something like really agree or what. I scolded him or something.
Yeah.
Then he go and ask the other girl, is she on her period?
The
And I was like, what?
Okay, actually, this is exactly what I want to say. This is exactly what I wanted to say. In that, like, I feel like in Eastern cultures, misogyny looks very obvious, like still, because we haven't gotten that whole like, no, must be PC, right? So misogyny could be like, oh, girls shouldn't hold a job, girls should stay at home and rear children. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's like Eastern culture. But I feel like in Western culture, it's definitely like that silent thought, right? Like where if you're an outspoken guy, you're confident. But if you're an outspoken woman, you're a bitch. Right? So I think it's really like how people have that impression of like prized values.
You know, it's funny because there's this video, do you see on TikTok about this guy at what Georgia Tech Institute, then he's giving the speech for the graduating batch. Do you watch?
No, I
No, I
didn't.
No, then
It's
he
a
was
Benedict
saying
one,
like
okay.
a woman's, okay, I cannot quote him, but he was basically saying a woman's life starts once she gets married and she has children, and
oh
that
no, he
he
said that.
said that
In
no,
the US.
in the US, Georgia,
That
Georgia
won't be
Tech.
taken well.
I got that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you see, right? No, the thing is, so it's on TikTok. You can go and see. I send you. They have
Yeah.
so a lot of people reply him. But if you look at the comments, right, a lot of people say like, "Oh, he's right. This guy is right. I love this guy. He's speaking the truth," because he was basically saying that women should
Care for the family.
stay at home lah. Stay at home. He said that the industry, the you have been fed a lie that if you get your degree and then you go out there, that will be a fulfilling lah, something like that. So it was a big thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But I actually think that in US is worse. I feel like in Singapore, people, I don't know lah. I feel like Singapore, especially in our generation,
Yeah.
people don't actively think of such things anymore. So you don't even say, you won't even think of it to say, you know, you won't like suddenly just be like, yeah, I don't think a girl CEO would work out. It's just like if you hear, oh, this person has become CEO, you won't even form the thought in your head about anything. You won't be like, you know, the thing is, people will ask you, right, like, what do you think about it? And a lot of times I just be like, I have no opinion about this. You know, like the kind of
No,
thing.
yeah,
You just
yeah,
have
yeah.
like, no opinion, that's like that, lor.
Yeah. I mean, it's along with what Nat said, right? Singapore, we are progressing more towards gender equality, if anything. But I do feel that we still hold tight to some of the premonition that we had last time, whereby there are divided roles between guys and girls. Like if you talk about household context in general, I think it will be more socially acceptable to see a stay-home housewife than a stay-home house husband. And personally. And I feel that people would look down upon house husbands than housewives.
I will gladly be a house husband, by the way.
No, me too, but
Sarah Lim, if you're listening.
yeah. But I feel that society as a whole are just not accepting, contextually accepting of things like that.
I think we haven't gotten to that point yet.
Not yet,
where, like,
not yet. Yeah.
Guys can take a equally like child rearing role
Interesting.
in society.
I
I mean,
really never
yeah.
thought of that as. I really never had opinion on that. But I tell you what, because when I was in primary school, one of my very good friends, her father was a stay-home dad and her mom worked. So I just really never thought anything about that because my mom stayed at home. So I was just like, oh, okay lor.
got
Yeah,
stay home
yeah.
dad.
My
that's
mother
cool.
stay at home, then hers is her father stay at home, that kind of thing. So it really, I guess because I saw it when I was in primary school, so that was like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
That was, I think
mean-
about it, that is really something special for
It
its
really
time.
is. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess it's just different, lor. I think it's just the way we think about it. Suddenly,
It's the way we contextualize it lah, in general.
yeah.
I would like to think that, you know, as like society progresses, these kind of things become a lot more normalized. So then eventually we can like just stop thinking about it altogether. But I then feel like we're not really at that point yet.
But we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting there.
So one day when people ask you, you just be like, huh? Why am I supposed to have an opinion on this?
yeah, it'd be so foreign to them in general. Really, really. Yeah.
Alright, good. So that is it.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching today's episode on gender equality. Let us know what you think. This is man confidence. This is man confidence. This is only man confidence.